Welcome, Izzy, everyone. So Izzy was one of my students this year, and we worked on our college applications together. So I'm going to throw you a question that you're very accustomed to, Izzy. How did you prepare for college applications? How many drafts did we go through for your essay? You were probably one of the students who drafted most consistently. Each week, you brought to me your ideas for the essays, and then we would discuss them and then revise based on my suggestions each week. What would you say was the most challenging part of that process, just the application as a whole? I want to go back to something you said, which is that you felt it was very helpful that you knew yourself, right? That you knew your interests, what mattered to you, what you can talk on. What advice do you have for future students who may be struggling with that process of self-discovery? Like they're not sure what their interests are, or they're not sure they can write on what they can focus on. How about how many schools did you apply to during the EA process? How was the school selection process? Then could you let everyone know at what time do you recommend preparing or drafting essays for your schools? I do want to ask, what did you find most challenging about drafting the essays?
The most challenging was really just the beginning of it, just trying to figure out what to write about. Sometimes it was either I had no idea or I had too many ideas. And I think the most important thing when you have that many, either like too many ideas, is just thinking about which one was like I was the most involved in and what I was the most passionate about. And I could like express that through my writing. And if it was like I had too little ideas, then I would just try to sift through all of my experiences and all the things I've done in my high school career and just trying to figure out like which ones I could write about and which ones I felt involved in.
How do you think you demonstrated passion through your profile? I remember when we were first brainstorming, you had a concern that I think a lot of students have, which is I don't feel my experiences are unique enough, or you said, I think I don't feel like the challenges I've undergone are significant enough. But I think the phrase you used was it was very first world problems. And we remember we kind of talked about that. We brainstormed through that, right? So what advice do you have for students who probably feel the same way as you did?
Yeah, I think that like this circumstance, for example, like with that quote unquote first world problem, it's more of just like a catalyst towards the essay. The main focus of the essay is not just about your experience, but also like what I learned from the experience and also just like how I dealt with the experience. Because sometimes, like, I bet a lot of people have done almost everything that I've written about in my essays, but I also feel that maybe the way that I try to like resolve that issue or go around that issue was like something I could write more uniquely about. And I think that was kind of the main challenge and also the main path to success, in my opinion.
Many of the parents, they ask you about like what summer program you did during your 10th, 11th grade. Did you win any Olympia award? What did you do on your 10th or 11th grade summer? Did you create a nonprofit? Yes or no? Could you share your thoughts about other components of the application beyond the essay writing? For example, course selection, AP, standardized test. How much is your SAT or ACT test?
Is there an interview process for MIT? How did you prepare for the interview? What do you think the counselors at 7EDU did the most to support you? Do you have any suggestions on how to work best with a counselor? What about the parents' role in the process? Because I know we have a lot of parents here, right? Every parent wants to help their child, but a lot of parents may not be sure what the best way is. So I know your parents were very supportive. So how do you feel a parent can support his or her child during this process?
You're the first one to share this year, and you're not last one. So next time we're going to invite more students to share. Welcome to join back to hear what other students are going to talk about, right? So we also have some students, they would like to share MIT style and Stanford, Harvard style. Well, they're different, and they should be different, right, Amy?
Yeah, like I think we've been saying there's no one cookie cutter rule because I think sometimes parents, you just want like, if I do exactly this, 100% I'm going to get admission, right? People do not work that way. Admissions do not work that way. It's more about really, I think, seeing what the standout characteristics of the specific student is and having that come out the most because each application should be unique to the student. Help, but I remember once a student came to me during a meeting and she's like, I just feel so depressed, like I feel so like no energy, and I asked her why, and she said, I went online, and I looked at all these profiles of people who were applying to the same school I am, I feel like I don't match up to them. Right? I just said, why would you do that? One, the people online is such a limited sample, and two, that does not mean anything, right? The people who are admitted, there is no one tried and true formula. Now, I've worked with a lot of students, so I've seen actually a lot of what you may call similar profiles and what they have with research, with competitions, with GPA, with everything. And I will say that every successful student I had, in their application, we never talked about their competitions. We never talked about, like, you know, I was president of XYZ. We talked about personal stories. We talked about things that would demonstrate, you know, like their compassion, what they care about. Like when you read it, you feel like I know who this person is because I hear their voice.
We also have some question coming. And do we help students to identify their major too? Yes, we do. So students don't know their major sometimes is because they don't know how many departments, how the college work. They don't know. That's why they say they don't know, right? So we give them knowledge first. We explain them about the different, you know, interest, the direction, how far they can go, where they can go. And then they probably can tell you what they like. For example, if you show them about like, hey, this major in the college, what course it's going to study, right? What a project it's going to lead to. So, and then we give them like more detail. They will understand it better. We also do the strengths finding, and we also do the education psychology related interaction with the students to figure out their passion and their interest. So yes, we do.
And stay tuned for more 7EDU webinars, okay? Thank you, everyone.